Well, to be invited to Buckingham Palace, which is, I wouldn't say it was everybody's dream, but from my side of the war, my life, I think it's unnatural, to be quite truthful with you. Because pardon?
What was the award?
The award was like Hero of the North on that, OBE on that, and that's what it was for. It's for the work I've done the last 24 years, taking lads out the streets, lads and lasses, giving them drug rate, taking them off drugs, taking them off crime, stopping them, ex-offenders coming out and also helping them. Also, besides that, not just me, but me boxers as well, helping the disabled and the elderly, you know, in Newcastle itself, on our estate.
But it must be very weird to go from your sort of background, suddenly you're in Buckingham Palace.
Well, I was put in the homes when I was 4-year-old in 1945, which was like a workhouse, and that was worse than any prison. Obviously, I was institutionalised, and there was only one road I could go down, which nobody was going to give me an office job, certainly not. So obviously, I turned into the criminal side of things, and I was classed as a professional criminal. Whether it was banks, I was done for the bank once, post offices, etc., etc. We were targets. We were the number one target in the northeast and up and down the country. But 24 years ago, as I say, the system's got nothing to be proud of, because the system did not, you know, turn me into what I did turn in. I mean, the system created me. I didn't create the system. But I've always been one side of the fence and not this side, and I'll never ever leave it. But to go through the palace today, after leading, you know, serving the Queen for over 30 years, in one institution after another, I mean, I thought I was going through to get a gold watch offer for retirement. But to be awarded, you know, off like an OBA on that, as I say, I turned my life around. Not because the system had done anything, it was because the system abused, etc., etc. I mean, all my time was done in the blocks, fighting the screws, fighting the system. I changed myself, you know. When I said enough was enough, that was it.
Do you have any regrets about your past life?
No, certainly not. If I could live my life again, I think I would say definitely, I've put about 4 to 5, 6 lifetimes into one life. I think we've all got a mountain to climb in this life, and I think today I've reached the peak of mine.
And what was the Duke of Edinburgh like? Was he all right?
He's just like one of the chaps. For me to call him Philip and slip up, well, but I've invited him to the boxing club anyway. You know, I've invited him there when he comes next up in Newcastle, and he said he would like to come and see us on that, you know.
And the Queen?
But the Queen was, to me, I think everybody was more amazed with her, but I just relaxed and kept, and she was just like the woman like a next door neighbour. I mean, I've dealt with that many elderly and disabled. I'm not saying she is. I mean, don't take that in context. And she was no different to people what I actually help and deal with. I think she was a marvellous lady. I've never been a royalist, but I think I've turned a little bit today.
And you had to be persuaded to actually take the award?
Yeah. I actually refused it. I was going to, even when I got the Hero of the North fully, I've not just, I got reached the last 4, there was thousands in it, but I got down to the last 4, and to actually win it was fantastic. And I even asked the judges, could I give it to an old lady sitting on another table? I didn't want it, I just felt embarrassed actually winning it. Because the way I look at it, there's more deserved causes than me. I love what I'm doing. and to be awarded for something you love what you're doing, to me, I think somebody else should.
So was it a very emotional day for you?
Yes, it was. To actually, I don't think I realised that until I actually was driving through the gates when I went through on the bus, because it was ITV that took me through, and to actually go through, see the guards, and then actually be taken into the courtyard of the palace as well, and then to go into the palace. Well, I mean, I've seen it on telly, and I never dreamt that I'd be walking up them steps.
So kind of different from the places that you've been inside.
Well, if you think how many gates I've walked through in prisons, to actually walk through, or going through, be taken through the gates of the palace, I mean, to be quite truthful, I kept thinking I'm going to be locked up in the tower. That's what was going through my mind. You know, I'm more fitted for the tower than meeting the Queen. You know, but fantastic lady.
So a great day for you.
Fantastic day. I met some brilliant people today, all walks of life, disabled people, etc., etc. I met a lot of good people there, which I did. All there for good causes, what they've done. And I just think the world just needs more of them.
And any advice for people who might be following down your road originally?
Well, my advice is, don't waste your life. Don't throw your life away in the prisons. You know, there's plenty more out there. You can make a living without going to prison. Without that, and I would say, get yourself into something, you know, something worthwhile, instead of lying in a prison cell. Because that, we can all act the big men on the outside. When you go through them gates, it's a different matter. You've got to be able to look after yourself. But it's not recommended by me. It's great at the time when you're making the money, but the whole scheme is terrible.